Hi, I'm Kathy Perret with the City of Santa Barbara's Water Conservation Program. Today we're going to talk pressure in your irrigation system. Pressure is the Goldilocks of your irrigation system. Too much pressure and you're going to see misting. The water's going to blow off site and it's totally inefficient. Too little pressure, your sprinklers don't pop up. The water doesn't throw where it's supposed to go. You get dry spots. What we're looking for is pressure that's just right. The way to start looking for that is to start at the house. We want to find out how much pressure we actually have in our system. I'm going to show you how to do that. Let's go check it out. The best place to start checking your pressure is the first hose bib you have in your front yard that comes off of the main line, your water main line from the street. You use a pressure gauge and you screw it onto that hose bib. Make sure you've got a rubber washer in there, otherwise it's going to splash water all over you when you turn it on. Make sure it's tight. And then you turn the water on and see how high your pressure is. Pop-up sprinklers work most efficiently at 35 psi. Drip systems between 20 and 25 psi. As you can see at this hose bib off the main line, we've got 80 coming onto this property. So let's go and check a drip system, one that the homeowner uses that comes off of this hose bib, and see how we can reduce it and make it efficient. You can see on this one, it's streaming. We are not dripping water on the plant slowly. So we're going to need to reduce the water pressure to make this work more efficiently. So we're going to talk about how to quick reduce the pressure on a drip system. Number one thing on a drip system, whether it's an in-ground valve or you're using a hose bib to apply water, you have to have a pressure regulator filter assembly. This will reduce the pressure to 20 to 25 psi. If you're coming from a hose bib, well, we figured that already was 80 psi starting. You can use this. If it's totally on, you can turn it down. Look at your drip irrigation, and when it goes from streaming to dripping, make a note. That's where you want to turn the water on when you're watering your irrigation and your plants up front. You don't want to drown them. So make sure you're dripping and not streaming when it's on drip systems. You have to look at your irrigation system while it's running to determine whether you've got too much pressure and misting, which we're certainly seeing here. If you're getting misting, that water's blowing off-site and it's not going to the surface down to the plants. We're going to need to reduce the pressure to make this run much more efficiently. We talked about a system to reduce the pressure to the whole irrigation system so you don't have to do each one at every valve. This is a pressure reducing valve. It goes on the main line to your irrigation system. It takes the pressure from the 80 psi that's up front and reduces it down to 40 psi. Well, we reduce the pressure. We have that valve on the side of the house where we could turn it down. We also have the option of on-off, kind of like a hose bib. So we turn the pressure down on that for the sprinklers. And look at this, it's just right. We don't have misting. The water is coming down in little droplets to the plants. If you haven't been able to reduce the pressure because maybe you don't have a pressure regulating valve on your irrigation system, or you don't have a shutoff valve that you can control the flow, you can still reduce the pressure by replacing your existing sprinkler bodies with pressure regulating bodies. You can tell the difference because they'll say PRS on the top, pressure regulating sprinkler, and that'll bring them down to 35 psi. Then your pressure will be just right. Thanks for joining me today in exploring water pressure. Hopefully this is going to let you go home, turn your irrigation on, look at it. Do you have low pressure or high pressure? I would look for high pressure. That's the most common problem with irrigation system efficiency, and you can do something about it. So take what you've learned, make some adjustments, make sure you get that pressure just right for the most efficient irrigation possible. If you want some assistance, contact your local water agencies. We're there to help.